Hello guys, it's me, and today we're doing What If Bo was a bioweapon, part 2. I noticed you guys have wanted part 2. I'm not saying I'm not going to do it. I am impressed with the amount of likes I've gotten for part 1. Thank you guys so much. But let's get into it. Previously on part 1. Previously on Bell. Come on, come on. I gotta get out of here. The portal explodes. As Bell looks around, we continue to, where the hell am I? He begins looking around. He wonders where the hell he is at. So, he takes his bike and puts it in an alleyway, because he doesn't want to get stolen. And he covers it with a tarp that he stole from the Umbrella Corporation. He begins walking around the city, and that's when he sees the Loki familiar. That's when she sees eyes. He sees eyes. He just looks at her for a second, because they're like walking past each other. Also, if you guys like me doing this voice much more calming and soothing, I'll be down for doing this voice for now on. If this video will match it another 50 likes, then I shall do this voice. But if I fail at that, I'll do a better one. Does that sound good? Okay. Bell begins. Bell says, "Wait, who is that?" He wonders. But he just instantly just shrugs it off. As he jumps to a rooftop, with no one seeing him, he looks around. He just sees his whole city. He wonders where the hell he's at, what country he's in, because this is no countries he ever seen before, and the giant tower that's going up into the sky. He's never heard of such a thing, or seen of such a thing. I mean, he jumps back down, and he looks at that Bet guy walking out of the bar drunk. As he begins, he looks at Bell, and Bell just ignores him, just walks away. As Beck says, "Hey kid, what's with that white hair? You're scared? Your mom scared you too much?" Bell just stopped for a minute. He has a flashback of his mom's smile, saying, "Sweetie, you'll always be my favorite." And when Bell hears this, he was quite angry. But when I mean angry, I mean to the point of where he will fucking kill you. Yes, seriously, he's gonna fucking kick his ass. So, I don't know why I'm making that sound. Sorry if you guys find that disgusting. I'm terribly sorry. Just that sometimes it happens, so I'm so sorry. But let's get into the video. Again, as Bell turns around and starts walking towards Bet, and the Loki familiar just got out, and you see this person wearing these weird clothes. And Bell's quite a looker. Of course, not yet, but whatever. He has 2 Desert Eagles, and he has gun holsters on his left and right side. But he's not going to use them for this. He stops right in front of Bet, and Bet says, "What's wrong, kid? You want to fight?" As Bell says, "Why should I fight you? You're not even worth my time. And also, Mr. Bet, was it?" And Bet says, "Yeah, what's it to you, kid?" As Bell says, "You cannot beat me, buddy." As Bell just says, "You're too weak." As Bell turns around and was walking away, as Bet's he just throws his beer bottle onto the ground. He says, "Hey, kid." As Bet lunges a kick at Bell, But Loki familiar like saying, well, whoever that guy is, he's dead. But to their surprise, Bell caught Bet's kick. And Bell looked at him with different colored with this logo, the umbrella logo in his eyes. I have decided that the Umbrella Corporation logo will be in combat and for controlling some for viruses. As Bell just says, you just asked for a death wish, buddy. As Bell punches Bet in the face, knocking him, like throwing him into a wall. As Bell grabs his leg as he's pulling him out of the wall and slams Bet into the fucking ground. As Bet's almost all his bones are broken, or almost like most of them are broken and fractured. Dude just crouches down and just says, like I said, buddy. Closes his eyes and opens them again, and his eyes have gone back to normal. You're too weak. As Bell gets up and walks away. And Loki Familia and even Loki were astonished that guy beat Bet without a sweat, without even breaking a freaking sweat. And now this is what caught attention to Eyes. She now wanted to fight Bell. Which I said in part 1. She will not be able to beat him. She may be having an insane skill, but he can regenerate faster, and he can actually pick up her movements much more quicker. And besides, the fight will be coming soon, guys. As Bell begins taking his bike out of the alleyway and moving the tarp. He begins driving it to the abandoned part of the city. And yes, he is going to be joining the Loki Familia, of course. But guys, do you really like me using this calm voice? If you really like this, why am I saying like that all the time? It's so weird. I'll figure out why really, but let's see. Look, I think this is the downside when I say this. Okay, whatever. How long is this video? Oh, 7 minutes. Fascinating. Okay, I'll get to it. As Bell, I know. As Bell, trying to figure it out right now. Bell finds an abandoned house. But, to his discovery, he finds a hidden passageway in the abandoned house. Because he was just looking at some old books, and he actually pulled the lever. And when he opened it, it looked like a cellar, going down for miles, going all the way down. And so, Bell decided to do something. Since the Umbrella Corporation was actually doing some, nano or shrinking tech, Bell actually stole some of that and made a mini lab of an Umbrella Corporation thing. But the thing is that only he would have access to it, or if he's actually given access to people if he wants them to know where it is. So, Bell starts building it, and for the next 2 weeks. 2 weeks. As Bell gets finished that in 2 weeks, because Bell's body is not of a normal human, like I said. His body is more like flexible and durable, and it's much more faster than any normal human on Earth. So, yeah. Also, I'm thinking about the Eyes right now. Not her, but I'm trying to say that I'm gonna make Eyes fight one of fight one of Bell's a G virus like monster. But Bell's gonna have control over it. And he can even force it to transform back. But, like I said, if it gets to a really high mutation stage, the high mutation stage will not listen to Bell. So I'm sorry if I'm keeping any of y'all from the story, but I'm just explaining this to you. I don't know why I'm doing such a calming voice, but, 50 likes equals another video of episode 3, or part 3, and I don't know. But let's continue. Finally, Bell says, I finally got this thing finished. As Bell begins, going to his room, which he built, and he begins storing his weapons and reassembling them. And he ends putting up most of his weapons on the weapon rack that he built. Sorry. I'm just, sometimes I get out of character there. After he puts all his guns and pistols in there, he takes his 2 Desert Eagles. Takes his 2 Desert Eagles. And starts loading them up and grabbing some more mags. As Bell walks out of the house, leaves the facility using the elevator he made. With the elevator that he never mind, you guys can do the math, but whatever. As Bell gets outside, he begins taking his bike and starting it up. He begins driving it to the dungeon where a lot of people were gathering and he wanted to investigate. As soon as he arrived there, everyone was looking at him they were looking at his bike. So he took the ignition out of the keys because he just thinks they might try to steal it or something. But, to Bell's surprise, all of them were having old, old times gear for knights and stuff, armor that looked very old. To them, it was just standard for them. As Bell got there, he asked the lady at the front desk about why is everyone here. As she says, wait, do you not know what this place is? And Bell's like, no, I am sorry. Says, no, I am sorry. It's just that I'm new in town. And she says, oh, so I'll tell you everything then. As she begins explaining everything about why is everyone gathering here. And Bell's like, okay. But before he was going to go up, he saw eyes again. And they're going to take care of the Minotaur problem. Bell's like, Bell's like, might as well, oh, I'm bored. Might as well follow them. As Bell begins following them, without them noticing. However, Finn knew that someone was following them. And then when everyone left to go deal with the Minotaur situation, Finn just stayed behind and just said, I know you're following us. You might as well show yourself. As Bell comes out of the shadow and just says, man, you're pretty sharp for a kid. As Finn says, oh, I'm not a kid. I'm an adult. And Bell's like, so you're one of those guys, huh? As Finn says, yeah, I'm one of them. As Bell says, As Finn says, but why? My question still stands. Why were you following us? As Bell says, well, I was curious. As Finn's like, well, you can't be here. There's a Minotaur situation. As Bell says, Minotaur? He looks at the guy confused, saying, have you not seen a Minotaur before? Or have you ever seen a monster? As Bill's like, I've seen monsters. And Finn's like, okay, so you do. Before Finn could actually say you know what monsters are, Bell was continued and said, I've seen monsters that eat people, that rip you apart, that are insanely strong and dangerous. As Finn's like looking into Belle's eyes, and he just sees, when he sees into Belle's eyes, he sees someone who's been through like a living nightmare. And Finn's like, well, I can't argue with you there. But as Finn was about to say something else, but a Minotaur showed up and is charging at Finn. But before Finn could react, Belle just like already dealt with it. Because Belle shot it in the head, and it died instantly. As Finn's like, what type of weapon is that? As all the Loki familiar could hear just a bang echoing across. They're wondering what that was. As Belle says, it's a gun. As Finn says, is that some type of magic weaponry or rare item? And Belle's like, what the hell are you talking about, kid? What the hell are you talking about, Finn? As Finn's like, well... As Belle's like, well... Finn, I have a little offer for you. As Finn's like, yeah? Since you're kind of bored, do you want to fight me? As Finn's like, yeah, sure, I'll fight you. As Belle's like, okay, want to fight right here where I killed the Minotaur? As Finn's like, sure, let's go ahead. As Finn says, but you won't win. And Belle says, it's not about winning, it's about you surviving. And Finn's like, this kid's serious. This guy is serious. I'm sensing the intention to kill. As Finn begins to smile and just says, let's go. As everyone could hear a bunch of noises and magic spells being said. And Finn actually was exhausted. When the Loki familiar showed up, they saw Finn in the fucking wall. Like, in the fucking wall. Like, he was like in the fucking wall. Like, and they saw his whole body was, like, his arm was broken, and his leg and his jaw, like fractured. As Eyes went to go help Finn, as Belle said, I wouldn't do that if I were you, Miss Eyes. As Eyes turned around, she sees Belle, and she says, wait, it's that guy before who beat Bet. As Bet walks out and just says, it's the, as he says in his head, it's him. Belle says, don't interrupt our fight, Eyes. As Eyes begins to pull out her sheath, as Finn says, don't. As Eyes turns around and she just says, but Finn, you can't take him. As Finn's like, this is my fight. As Finn gets out of the wall and just standing up and holding out his fist and even smiling even harder. As Finn's like, let's go! Everyone could hear was like a loud boom. And Finn just standing there while Belle's arm was missing. Because Belle's arm was completely destroyed. Like, all the flesh from it was completely like evaporated. As Belle was just standing there, missing an arm, just saying, well done, Finn. You managed to damage me. As Finn's like, you want to still continue? You don't have an arm, Mr. Canal. As Belle's like, oh, whoever said I didn't have an arm. As all of a sudden, Finn saw Belle's arm growing back. And he was like, wait, what? And everyone in Loki Familia saw this. And Belle was like, I'm not normal. Or, I'm stronger than I look. As Finn's like, so, are we going to finish this fight then? Are you going to finish me off then? Finn said. As Belle's like, no. You're too much of a worthy opponent. So for now, we'll just call it a draw. And as Belle's walking away, and Finn says, wait! As Belle stops and turns around, and Finn says, you better next time when we fight, you better go all out. And Belle's like, if I did, you'd be dead in seconds. The spell begins leaving. However, Finn begins to fall to the ground unconscious. And everyone in Loki Familia is shocked. Finn, who was the strongest among them all, was completely dominated by this person. Of course, this just made Eyes want to fight Belle now. As Eyes begun saying, hey, Mr. Bell, hey, Cornell. As Belle turns around and says, yeah, fight me. As Belle says, listen, Miss Eyes, puts his hands together. You cannot beat me. As Eyes says, don't act, are you acting cocky? Tilting her head, and Belle's like, no, I'm not acting cocky. I'm trying to explain to you is, you cannot beat me because I'm not normal. As Eyes says, I don't care. Fight, I will defeat you. As Belle's like, okay then. Belle begins putting up his hand and grabs his pinky and rips it off in front of them, and they're like, what the hell? He's like, not even screaming in pain for what he just did. As he throws his pinky, as the pinky on his finger does not regenerate because he does not want that to regenerate. As Eyes says, so what? As Eyes says, why did you rip off your pinky? As Belle says, it's something that you should witness. As the pinky began transforming into this huge thing, a G-virus, but it does not have a humanoid head. But it was at stage 2, and Jeff Eyes is like, what the hell? He can make monsters? As the things are like roaring, and everyone in lower levels could hear this, because the dungeon was shaking when it was roaring. Eyes began attacking it, using her Tempest, raising it up more and more, raising it up by 5%. But that was not even cutting it, so she kept raising it even more. Still nothing, as the thing kept swinging and slashing. However, Belle closed one of his eyes, and he's actually not controlling it, he's just watching through its eyes. He sees the creature, says, kill. And Belle's like, good thing I built a tolerance for it saying kill. As the thing, hand goes through, was about to pierce Eyes, but Eyes dodges it, and its hand's stuck. As Eyes stabs it in the head, as the thing falls to the ground, and Eyes says, is that all you got? Belle notices she's a bit exhausted. As Belle looks at her and just says, well done, Eyes. You managed to kill it in its second phase. And Eyes says, second phase? She says its second phase? As the thing rips off its claw, as when Eyes looks at it, it's bigger and has more arms. And everyone in Loki Familia is shocked. And some of them are actually helping Eyes now. However, Belle says, I think that's enough. Come on. Come here, my little creature. As the creature began walking to Belle, passing the Loki Familia, as the thing kept growing smaller and smaller and smaller, to the point that it was like the size of a pinky, Belle's pinky. As the monster went to Belle's hand and started transforming to Belle's pinky, and Belle attached it, and the and the flesh started reattaching to it. As Loki and me are like, what the hell? As Bell says, like I said, Finn, like I said, Loki Familia, you cannot beat me. As Bell turns away, as Bell walks away, just smiling, just says, wow, that was pretty fun. And he's pretty happy about how Isis managed to keep her composure when she was fighting this thing on Phase 2, because he was really impressed. The reason why it was on Phase 2 is because it does not have a human host. Because it needs a human host. So that's why Bell put it onto Phase 2. As Bell looks down the stairwell, he decides to jump it. He goes all the way down, crashing in front of everyone, breaking the floor, as he just begins walking towards his bike. As Loki Fumina grab Finn and just starts, and Loki, one of their healers start healing him. Ice begins walking down the stairs as fast as she could, and finds Bell driving away. But Ice said, "Wait!" As Bell was about to leave, and just parks his bike up and just says, "What is it?" As Ice just says, were you actually serious?" As Bell says, "Yes, I was." As Ice says, "So I can't beat you?" As Bell says, yes, you cannot beat me." As Ice is like, thinking like, well, could you join our familia? As Bell just looks at her with that confused face, just saying like, I really shouldn't, saying in his head, but it would be interesting to talk to other people. As Bell gets off his bike, just says in front of her, says, "Sure." As I says, "Okay." As Bell says, I'll come back here tomorrow morning. Your person who wants to get me into familia or whatever, who they are, here. See you by sundown. But that's where I'll be ending it off for today. If you guys really liked part 2, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. And if we get another 50 likes, there will be another part 3. But if you guys really did enjoy this, please break the like button. I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Goodbye.